What's good, homies? Welcome back to another episode, the final episode in our West Tigers rebuild series. We'll be finishing off the series in the Four Nations final. We accomplished our main goal of the series, which was to bring a premiership back to Wests, and it took us 2 seasons to do it. As for our international team, we started off with England. This is our second year with England as well, and we're in the Four Nations final, which is a pretty decent accomplishment, I guess. We were unable to win the World Cup last season, which would have been the main goal for that, but it is what it is. I think for the next rebuild series, I'll keep switching up the international teams every season instead of just playing with the one team. If you weren't aware, you can actually change your international team every season in the same career mode, as well as changing states you want to control in Origin, the All-Stars match if you want to play with the Indigenous on one year, and then play as the World All-Stars in the next. But yeah, we'll get to that when the time comes. As we start off in attack, just a minute into the game, we send it through the hands to McQueen, and he's going to get wrapped up just past our 20. Second tackle, again shifting it to the right side, a drawing pass out to Joe Burgess, cuts back in field, and he's going to get pulled down just on the 40, on our 40. Third tackle, we've got one line here, and it's going to be McQueen who slices through the defense, finds support in Burgess, and Sam Burgess is going to get wrapped up. Fourth tackle, and we're making some pretty decent meters here as we send it to Chase. Links up with McQueen, who floats it out to Joe Burgess on the wing. A little bit of room to move, pops the chip over the top. He actually gets grabbed after he kicked the ball, but Zach Hardacre comes speeding through past a couple of forwards. With no one around him, he regathers and he grounds the ball to open the scoring off a beautiful looking try. As we run it back here, it was just a simple pass to Chase. Chase with a little cutout ball, and then Chris McQueen throws a little cutout ball of his own. That gave Burgess a little bit of room to move, as you can see him getting held back after he kicked the ball. Thankfully, Zach Hardacre was on the chase and gets rewarded for it. Back off Gale, setting up to take the shot at goal, and it's a pretty difficult one here. As you can see, we actually shanked the kick. We mistimed the power meter, starts to flash red, and it results in a shanked kick. It's been a while since we've seen one of those shanked goal kicks. As the Aussies here make a beautiful break through the middle, it's going to be Darius Boyd getting wrapped up outside our 40. As they go short to Fafita here, who runs onto it, and he gets rid of one defender, then he drives his way towards our 20, finally gets grounded after making some decent post-contact meters. Fifth tackle, they go to Maloney. Maloney puts up the bomb, and it's way too deep, right down the throat of Ryan Hall. Alright, so after being rewarded a penalty, we kick to touch. We're now back in attack through James Graham, and he gets driven backwards in the tackle. On the first here, as we go short to Chase, delivers a flat ball to George Burgess, but he's well marked as he gets pulled down on their 40. So we continue to test their left edge. This time it's Luke Gale who finds space, and he sends it out to Hardacre in support, who gets rounded up on the 10. Third tackle, we send it to Burgess, and we're just crashing into the line. Unsuccessful on that occasion, as we get a decent setup to the left. Haven't scored off it. We send it out to Langi Chase, who gets hit, and the ball hits the deck, then sets up for Elliot Whitehead, who scores our second try of the game. As we take another look on the replay here, we send it to the first receiver, try linking up with Rangi Chase. He gets smashed in the tackle. The ball sits up for Whitehead. Perfect bounce for Whitehead, who eventually grounds the ball for our second try of the game. So Australia, they're not playing like their old classy selves. As we line up another conversion with Gale, and he's going to slot the 2-pointer and gets us up to a 12-point lead 26 minutes into the match. Alright, so after a bit of a grind and an error by us, we have Australia with the scrum feed. As they send it to Darius Boyd, he steps around 2 defenders, and we're diving for our lives here, trying to ankle tap him or something, but he's actually going to score under the posts, and finally gets Australia on the board. I forgot to include the error. I think I might have knocked it on, or I might have kicked it into touch on the full. One or the other. The Aussies end up scoring anyway, as we take another look at the try here, and at the handiwork, or at the footwork, of Darius Boyd stepping past 2 defenders, and he just leaves our chasers in the dust. Back with Croker here as he lines up the kick. Simple kick from right in front, as he adds the extras and gets them within 4 points. So it's been a pretty action-packed half with 3 minutes remaining, but with the Australians here in attack as they throw a loose ball, and a bit of desperation there shown by the winger Joe Burgess as he dives on the loose ball. Back off Sam Tompkins as he takes it to the halfway line. On the second, we kind of drift across field here and just hand the ball off to Greenwood, who gets pulled down outside their 40. Third tackle with a couple of minutes remaining in the half, we send it to Tom Burgess, and Tom Burgess with the big fend. The big don't argue as he gets around Boyd as well, and he gets pulled down outside the 10. And the clock unfortunately runs out as we go into halftime with a 4-point lead. It's been a pretty good game so far, a lot of action and plenty of tries scored as we take a look at the halftime match stats. And as you can see here, we're kind of dominating in time and possession. We have made a couple of errors, but our defense once again is key as we've only missed 6 tackles in that first half. Australia on the other hand have completed 4 from 5 sets, made 2 errors, conceded 1 penalty, and they've missed 10 tackles in total and only cracked our line 4 times. Alright, back in the second half as we jump into the action with the Aussies, and it's a little short ball that puts Darius Boyd through space. A nice little pass by Jonathan Thurston as Boyd gets rounded up on the 30. I believe it's the first tackle right now as Thurston gets wrapped up. Still on the 30 are the Australians. Yeah, and it's the first tackle here as they shift it wide to Jake Trbojevic, and he gets driven backwards in the tackle. So far the defense is looking pretty solid as we rush up off the line on Papali and we pull him down. Finally on the 20 as they continue to chip away at our line, bit by bit, just slowly creeping their way into our 10-meter zone. Fourth tackle here, they go to Farah with a short ball to Jake Trbojevic, and it's Trbojevic with the leg drive almost makes it to the try line. Fifth and last for the Kangaroos as they send it to Maloney. Maloney stabs a beautiful little grabber through for his Sharks partner in Andrew Fafita as he scores their second try of the game. A sneaky little grabber here by James Maloney as we take another look on the replay. Sets up perfectly for Andrew Fafita and he grounds the ball for their second. Back with Croker here as he adds the extras and Australia finally take the lead. Alright, so after a couple of grinding sets, we're back inside the final 30 minutes of the match as we send it to Westwood with the big fend, and we try and run into space here, getting around Darius Boyd until we eventually get rounded up on their 40. Not only that, Australia actually give away a penalty for holding us down in the tackle. So we kick the touch as we take the tap here. Gale takes it to the line and gets completely flattened in the tackle. First tackle as we go short to Clark, taking a hit up now. On the second, again we get that sweeping play, I think it is, as we try and send it wide. We're lucky to not get it intercepted as Tompkins gets pulled down. Back on the fourth with players lined up to the left of us. We try and stab a grabber through in behind the line. It was intended for one of our outside men, but it goes right in front as Langi Chase chases his own kick and scores our third try of the game. The grabber kick's definitely a handy little kick to have. For some reason it feels a little easier on this game and it can get a little cheesy if you just continuously score off them. It's usually my go-to when I'm unsure on what I want to do. Anyway, we're back with the conversion here as we add the extras and we're going to go up by 4 points. Alright, so we're back at the kickoff and you know something's about to go down when I'm showing the kickoff as we make the catch off Gale. Sends it to McQueen, through the line, fends off their fullback, draws and passes to Luke Gale as we celebrate while we race away here for our fourth try of the game. Man, that defense by the Kangaroos. Oh, how soft was that defense on the kickoff. We got the length of the field. I think that's our first try off a kickoff in Rugby League Live 4. A pretty unlikely team to score it with and a pretty unlikely opposition to score it against. Inside the final 20 minutes, we get rid of it on the last, and it's Josh Mansour with the return, steps around one, and he gets pulled down on their 30. First tackle, they send it wide to Scott. Scott shrugs off one defender, shrugs off another, gets a pass away that bounces off an English player into the hands of Latrell Mitchell, and he's going to get pulled down outside our 10. Still plenty of time to go in this game as they go out the back to Maloney, and Maloney links up with Scott, who charges towards the line. First tackle now as they come to this left side, and it's going to be Papali who tries to power his way over, but he gets wrapped up just before the try line. Another short ball here, and of course we concede another soft try just when we're calling Aussie soft on their defense. Our goal line defense kind of falls apart there. That actually ends up being the final try of the match as Jared Croker lines up the final points in our West Tigers rebuild series. We're going to walk away with a 4 Nations win with England to top off what was a great year with the West Tigers and just a great series overall. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a trophy celebration, so we're going to end it on this cutscene. I just want to thank you, the Odd Squad, the viewers, for a successful series. Our first series in Rugby League Live 4. This series has been a fucking blast to make. As for the next team we're coaching, if you didn't keep up with the poll, we'll end the video with that logo. As always, if you made it this far into the video, hit me up in the comment section with the hashtag OddSquad over everything, and shoulder charge the fuck out of that like button. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.
Like my bitches are coming toast, that's my role. Use a fool if you think that you're bull. What is up to me like glue? Don't rock jets, okay, my rock ones. Okay, don't rock twos. Who's dudes? Okay, that's my goons. When I say they shoot, show me room. Like my bitches are coming toast, that's my role.